Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I would like to welcome you to another video session by Aussizz Group. My name is Singh and I'm a registered migration agent currently working at Aussizz Group in Clayton. Today we are making this video for a recent change which we have received from Tasmania for 190 and 491 state nomination requirements. Without wasting time, let's move on to what are the requirements for 190. For 190, Tasmania has introduced only 2 categories this time. As earlier there were 3 categories, they have taken off permanent from the list for their offshore applicants. So offshore applicants won't be able to apply for 190. Moving on to category 1 is Tasmanian Graduate. If you are a recent graduate from Tasmania and have completed 2 years of study, which is at least 92 weeks of study from a CRI-course registered institute, then you are eligible for 190. Moving forward, you must also have your study related to a Tasmanian skilled occupation list. If your study is not related to that list, you have to show them a career plan that how your study has increased the chances to find a skilled occupation in Tasmania. So basically, if you've done any kind of study from where your occupation is in the list, then you don't need to show a career plan, but we do urge that you still show them a career plan if you are not working. If you have completed the studies and your occupation is in the list as well, and you are currently employed as well, so you need to provide those documents, and there are chances that you will be invited for 190 Tasmania. Moving on to category number 2, which is working in Tasmania. For working in Tasmania, Tasmania requires at least 6 months of full-time work experience. It can be either one full-time job or you can combine 2 part-time jobs to make those full-time hours to get nominated for Tasmania. Now, moving forward, your occupation must be in the Tasmanian skill occupation list. If alongside that, you need to provide them with an employment contract. So your contract must be for at least 12 months, which shows a genuinity that you are going to remain in Tasmania and are going to work in your skilled occupation list. So as they've mentioned on the website that they are looking for a genuine ongoing position with the business. So your business must be actively operating in Tasmania for at least last 12 months. It cannot be a brand new business. We are talking about 190. So in that scenario, you must show there is a genuine employment which can be justified by showing that they've got a contract for at least 12 months, and even if on the contract you've got 3 months left, you can still apply for the state nomination. And the contract, guys, this is a very serious concern that we are getting contracts nowadays where employer is not paying you those kind of wages according to Fair Work. So make sure you read the Fair Work website and see what are the minimum wages on which the employer should be making that pay. Logically, that means Tasmania is looking for those candidates who can at least make minimum 53,900 per year when it comes to further 491 candidates, but we'll talk on that afterwards. In regards to documents, I'll quickly go on the documents as well. To satisfy the criteria for Tasmanian Graduate, they have requested first of all your visa grant letter. You need to provide them the bridging visa notice, again which can't be just like you've lodged an AET application. You have to provide them a bridging visa notice whether you are on AET or federal. Secondly, you have to provide them the Tasmanian qualification if you have completed studies from Tasmania. Another one is you have to show them your bank transactions, your evidence of living in Tasmania, can be like lease agreement, your utility bills, your bond receipt sort of stuff. Then moving forward, they might request you to provide your travel itinerary as well. So it will be always nice if you, while making the application, you can provide all those such kind of documents, because a ready to submit application gives you more chances of getting the invite. Moving forward, if you are currently employed, in fact I should say, in the same occupation that you've completed your studies, so you must provide them with the employment evidence like your reference letter, your bank statement, your tax documents to prove that you've already been working in the skilled occupation that you have studied. Moving on to working into Tasmania, again they have requested all the documents which I have mentioned earlier. You must prove your residential, utility bills, bond receipt, bank transactions, if you've got any car rego, If you've got any other social commitments, like you are playing for a cricket club or you are involved in some other motor club, that they can write down a letter for you. The major document for employment is going to be your pay slips, your bank statement, your employment contract, your employment offer, which can justify that you have been working in your nominated occupation for at least minimum of 6 months when we are looking for 190 eligibility. Again guys, it seems like a lot of information. In that regards, you must contact your nearest Aussizz Group registered migration agent to discuss further. Moving forward on to 491. 491 is a skilled work regional provisional visa. For 491, the requirements set are: number 1 category moving on to is Tasmanian Graduate. This time they have introduced that if you have at least studied for 1 year, this 1 academic year, that is 40 weeks of CRICO's registered course for 40 weeks on site in Tasmania, they will nominate you for 491 visa. This study, now we do understand people have been studying different kind of studies that might not be in the TSOL list. Again, if your occupation is not in the TSOL list, you have to write them a career plan. Career plan basically has been introduced to satisfy the requirement that how you believe that this studies which you have done will be able to help you find a skilled occupation in Tasmania. So again, the students, international graduates from Tasmania, have to write down this career plan to satisfy the requirement of study if your occupation is not in the TSOL list. Plus, if you are doing any kind of course, trade course, it has to be at least certificate 3 or diploma, advanced diploma, associate or graduate. Now, when you are doing a graduate diploma, make sure guys you are not doing graduate certificate. Graduate certificate is not considered eligible for Tasmania. You have to at least complete graduate diploma. Moving forward on to working in Tasmania. If a candidate has been working in Tasmania for at least 6 months immediate on the day when he was lodging the application, even if you are not working in the nominated occupation, it's fine, but your employment must be minimum of 35 hours. Minimum 35 hours is required. Your employer must be well established for at least 12 months and actively operating in Tasmania for at least 12 months. There must be a genuine need of the position, so that means you have to show them an employment contract for at least 1 year, and if there are only 3 months left on your contract, on the day you are making the application, there are high chances that your work will be considered. Now, there would be a question that full-time and part-time is understood, but is casual employment to be covered by Tasmania as well? Now, they have mentioned on their website that the contract may be casual, but must comply with the Fair Work Ombudsman. So again, you need to talk to your employer if he is paying you casual, and you have to check by yourself for your fair work conditions as well, that whether your employer is paying you the correct amount which can justify the casual contract. Your wages and your condition must be no less than favorable than if the same job was given to Australian citizen or permanent resident. So we have seen people who have been getting underpaid. So in that case, you have to make sure you have to go on Fair Work website and see whether you are getting the proper pay to satisfy state criteria or not. Now, moving forward, in regards to occupations who are less than skill level 4 or 5. Now, when we are talking about skill level, every ENSCO skilled occupation has got a level. For further that, you might have to talk to your registered migration agent that my occupation where I'm working in, whether it falls under level 4 or 5 or 3 or 2 or 1. So if your occupation is classified as an ENSCO skill level 4 or 5, you will not be eligible for the purpose of state nomination. So if you are doing any kind of job which is under occupation 4 or 5, they may not consider your application. Unless, number 1, if the employment is ongoing and is for at least 6 months beyond the application date. What does that mean? That if the applicant has been working from last 6 months, he can lodge the nomination and he can prove that he's got a contract for next 6 months. So in that case, Tasmania might not give you invite straight away, because they might be looking at your file that whether this person is going to go for next 6 months or not. Again, it's up to the assessor how it's going to assess the file, but employment contract would be the best evidence which can prove that okay, you've worked there for 6 months and there is an intention and genuine intention to complete another 6 months in future. Second, if the applicant has reasonable career development prospects in the industry. Now looking at your resume, we can see if you guys have been doing any kind of studies and the job is totally relevant to your study, it can show a proper career development, or even if you have changed your profession, it can show that your career development comes into that particular occupation. Secondly, it says that the location where you've been working, it is at least 50 kilometers from a population center of more than 5,000 people in a position for which there is a genuine and demonstrated severe labor recruitment difficulty. Now, if you go to regional areas of Tasmania, you can see there are much more needs of labor work. There are high chances that if you are working not in Hobart or Launceston, at least like 50k from those places, there are high chances they may consider your application. Moving on to next point, they are saying if your occupation is associated with aged care, individual support when it comes to unit group nursing support or personal care workers, they would be considering those occupations, but you must have at least certificate 3 required. Yes, so of course, as we know, there would be candidates who are working in aged care. There are chances they might invite you for 491. Moving on to next one is the position involves specialist qualification of experience that are not available in the local community. If you are a medical practitioner, surgeon, any kind of occupation which for the local community is pretty hard to find out, there are chances they will invite you for 491. Evidence of prior related employment experience and or qualification are provided. You have to make sure when you are lodging for 491, you have to provide all the evidences and requirements for that particular job you've been working for last 6 months. So do make sure that you provide all those documents when it comes to working in Tasmania. Now, I would like to suggest if you have been doing internships and those were not paid, even non-paid internships or paid internships, I would say scholarship or volunteer work is not considered as a work in Tasmania. Secondly, if you have been working in supermarket, service stations, limited service restaurants, basically limited service restaurants are like fast food restaurants, massage clinics, taxi driving or Uber driving, or subcontracted cleaning businesses, maintenance or security work is not considered for 491. So guys, again, it might be a little bit confusing for you people to see whether your occupation comes under ANSCO code 4 or 5. Do contact your registered migration agent so that he can guide you through if you are able to meet the nomination requirements for 491. Moving on to next category we've got here is overseas applicant. We won't be discussing too much about offshore applicant. We would like to thank Tasmania again. They've given us this category if you've got a family member in Tasmania. Now for the requirements of family members in Tasmania, number 1, your family member must be Australian permanent resident or Australian citizen for at least past 12 months. Minimum 12 months, he must be PR or citizen the day you are lodging the application. So if your family member is less than 12 months, they may consider, but there are very high chances you might not meet the eligibility criteria of the state nomination. Second one, it says if your family member is permanent resident or citizen living in Tasmania for at least 12 months, he must make sure that he is a PR citizen for 12 months and minimum he must be residing in Tasmania for 12 months. And third one, who's a family member? Family member can be your parent, can be your brother, can be your sister, your child, your uncle, aunt or grandparent. And he must agree to support you in process of gaining employment in Tasmania upon your arrival in Tasmania. So basically, while you are lodging your application under this criteria, again, talk to your registered migration agent. Your sponsor needs to be aware that he will be supporting you if you arrive in Tasmania to find you an employment. It can be either skilled or non-skilled, as long as in future, looking at 191, you should be satisfying 53,900 of income. Yes. All right. Moving on to next category we've got here is small business requirements. Now, with small businesses, I would like to say that in the small businesses, Tasmania will be looking first category that your business is running actively operating for at least last 6 months. Yes, plus is there chance that the job or kind of business you are doing will meet the minimum threshold income, which is 53,900 in future or not? If it is not, there are high chances that they might refuse your nomination. Moving forward, you must also understand that if you've got any employees working under you, they must be paid accordingly the Fair Works rules and ombudsman set. So make sure if there are employees working under you, you are paying them accurate, and there are high chances that if you've got any Australian citizen or permanent resident working under you, that they may give you a nomination, but again you must make sure that they are paying, that you are paying them the correct wage. Moving forward, what you need to provide for your business, it must be a business plan, that how your business is dealing, what your business is doing, what are the products, and how it's going to be benefit to Tasmanian local community. Moving forward, how can you suggest that? You need to provide an evidence of research, and you said you should understand how the market works in Tasmania. The research can show in related to the industry you are working in. For example, if you are working in a building industry and you are running a building business, you need to show them how this business is going to be beneficial to the Tasmanian community and what areas you are working in. Again, in this case, if you are working in outer areas from Hobart or Launceston, I'm just giving an example, there's no such word mentioned Hobart or Launceston, but there are more chances that Tasmania will be inviting you if you are working in outer regional areas. Moving forward, I would again tell you that if you've owned a franchisee or you are a part owned or passive business investment, that means that category you won't be eligible for. So if you are running a franchisee or you are owning a passive business investment, you are not acceptable under this category. Service station, there would be a lot of candidates who might be trying to invest their money in service station. Tasmania said service stations, massage clinics, taxi and Uber related business are also not supported under this category. No matter how much money you make, they will not be considering this application to proceed further if you are owning such kind of businesses. Again, guys, this was the small business owner requirements. Yes. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this was the video session, a basic video session about 190 and 491, which has recently been introduced by Tasmania. We would require you to book an appointment with us, with your nearest Aussizz Group, Clayton, we are working in, or you can go to other branches when it comes to, we've got offices in Melbourne, we've got offices in Brisbane, we've got in Sydney. You should contact your registered migration agent, which can guide you through. If you are eligible for nomination criteria, then you must apply for 190 and 491. We do urge you that you should go on our Facebook and follow and see what are the occupation list which have been introduced by Tasmania. So Tasmania has introduced a new skilled occupation list today itself, and we would urge you that you go there and have a look. If your nominated occupation is in the list and you've been working, that there are high chances that you will get the invite for 190 or either 491 if you're eligible. Secondly, I would, while wrapping up, I would also like to mention you, Tasmania has mentioned that while you're lodging an application for 190, if you are not considered eligible or the assessor believes that you are not satisfying the criteria for 190, they may give you an opportunity to apply for 491. So that's again a win-win situation for either of you guys. If you are going for 190 and you do not satisfy according to the assessor, then there are chances that you might go for 491. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you for joining me in this video session. This video session was about Tasmania 190 and 491 state requirements. Now, this session we've spoken about only basic requirements. We do understand there's a lot of documents, a lot of scenarios you guys might have to discuss with us. If you want to meet us in person, you can visit our nearest office, or you can contact us in the details below. If you've got any questions that needs to be answered, you can leave us a comment below, and we'll try our very best to answer you on this. So this was again Kamaljeet Singh, registered migration agent from Aussizz Group, and you have a nice weekend.